These are shark-infested waters. Danger lurks all around. There are sharks circling you right now. Is this the Pacific? The South China Sea? No. This is the business insurance industry. Don't take chances with your business insurance. Call High House Insurance, your local business insurance experts. We don't pay to be on comparison websites, so your premiums are better value. For a free no-obligation quote, call Celsey 606 552. High House, local, reliable insurance. High Street, Celsey.
Hi and welcome once again to Manhood Internet Radio's podcast. My name's Keith Barnes, and in this week's show we've got Alison with a look at what's going on in and around Bracklesham and the Witterings and also around Selsey. We talked to Sue Osborne about some of the nasty scams that are going about at the moment. We've got David with the May gardening. Mark Ponsford tells us about Park Run. We also have the answers to last week's quiz and of course a new quiz. And we finish with a lovely recipe from Keithy's kitchen. But firstly, we go over to Alison with the weather. Alison.
Time now for our weekly look at the weather. All important, of course. You'll be pleased to know that each day next week the weather is improving. Tuesday the 23rd, we start off with a high of 16 degrees Celsius, 61 degrees Fahrenheit, light cloud cover, 15 mile an hour westerly wind. But, as I promised, Wednesday the 24th, temperature increasing to 17 degrees Celsius or 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Light cloud cover again, westerly wind, slightly lower, 12 miles an hour. Thursday the 25th, 1 degree warmer, 18 degrees Celsius, 64 degrees Fahrenheit and sunny, 8 mile an hour easterly wind. Friday the 26th, the good weather's holding, 18 degrees Celsius, 64 degrees Fahrenheit again, sunny once again, 8 miles an hour, wind moving slightly northeasterly. Saturday the 27th, still on the increase, 19 degrees Celsius, 66 degrees Fahrenheit, sunny, 9 mile an hour east-northeasterly wind. Finishing on Sunday the 28th with a high of 20 degrees Celsius, or 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Again sunny, 10 mile an hour easterly wind. Now the tide table. Tuesday the 23rd, we can expect a high at 9:05 and a low at 3:25. Finishing the following week, Tuesday the 30th, with a low at 9:05 in the morning and a high at 4 o'clock. Don't forget, those of you who have any rubbish to get rid of, if you want to go to the Witterings, it's time for the mobile tip on the 25th. That's Thursday between 8:15 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's the Marine Drive car park at the Witterings on Thursday. So that's it for now. Hope you enjoy the week. I'm going away for a couple of weeks, but I'll be back in June once again with all the news of the events.
Thank you for that look at the weather, Alison. We shall, of course, be hearing from you a bit later on when you take yourself out and about around the Witterings and Bracklesham and also around Selsey to find out what's going on. And just what you've been waiting for, the answers to last week's quiz. And Kevin asked us, what is the most southerly racecourse in England? And that, of course, is Newton Abbot. Which bird sang in Berkeley Square? And that's a nightingale. Which Womble shares its name with a city in New Zealand? That's Wellington. Which city is the capital of Northern Province in Australia? That's Darwin. And who was the original presenter of QI? And that, of course, was Stephen Fry. And the connection, they all appeared on banknotes. Well, Stephen Fry didn't appear on banknotes. Sir Isaac Newton, Florence Nightingale, the Duke of Wellington, Darwin and Elizabeth Fry. Now, if you've never heard of Elizabeth Fry, her husband was a nephew of the J.S. Fry of chocolate fame, and very interesting lady, and well worth Googling it to find out a bit more about her. Right, with me now I've got Sue Osborne, and Sue's the Community Support Coordinator down at the Town Council offices, and she's going to be making us wise about some of the bits and bobs that are going on in the area. Good morning, Sue.
Morning, how are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Now, what have you got for us today?
Well, today I thought I'd talk a little bit about fraud and scams. They're very common these days, and the older members of our community are definitely prime targets. They can come in so many forms at the moment, and they often seem really genuine. So scammers can be very persuasive and use scare tactics to pressurise the victims in handing all kinds of information, but often personal details, their bank details, or even large sums of money.
Now, I know there are a few scams particularly going around at the moment. What sort of things should we be aware of?
Well, scams often will get people knocking on the door, you'll get letters through the post, but you'll also get internet scams. But a big thing at the moment, and it's quite a new one, is called the courier scam, which is done over the phone. The scammer will ring the victim, they'll pretend that they're perhaps from the bank or even the police. You'll be told that maybe there's been fraudulent activity on your bank account, and as a result they need your details to resolve the issue. They might even ask you to ring the phone number on the back of your card, so they seem really plausible. But what they actually do is keep your phone line open, so you're actually just ringing them. You'll be encouraged to give out your PIN number, and they'll say that they'll need to come and pick up your bank card to prevent further fraud taking place, at which point they'll send a courier to your home, pick up your bank card, they've now got your card and your PIN number, and you'll find large sums of money removed from your account.
There are terms to describe people that do that sort of thing, and I shan't use them on here. But no, we often hear about internet fraud, and we've got a growing number of silver surfers. We certainly have in Selsey. Can you give us an example of some of the scams that they might come across?
Yeah, you're right. Internet fraud has become very significant, and often, again, the scams are very convincing. For example, you might be using a website that you've used before, or perhaps it's a new one that's not quite so secure. You'll find a message might pop up in the middle of your screen saying that you've been hit with a virus. The message will look like it's from Microsoft or perhaps some other computer company that you use, and it'll have a phone number saying call us now and we'll resolve the issue. But what you'll find is once you call them, they will request your bank details and PIN number, and they say that they need to take the money so that they can remove the virus from your computer. Often they'll just be removing large sums of money. Often they'll do a test sum first of just £1, but before you know it, hundreds and hundreds of pounds have been removed.
Well, as I said, I've got a name for them. Now, quite often nowadays you receive hundreds of emails, literally, and most of them from people you never heard of, people you don't know.
Sure.
Are these basically scams too?
Often they can be. If you don't know where the emails come from, you should simply delete it. If you do open the email, be sure not to open any attachments or download any information, and certainly don't reply to the email. Often when you open the attachment or download it, it will be a virus that will then attack your computer. Also, you'll sometimes see that an email will come through and it will be a name of somebody you know, and you'll open it. What it is it's a virus that's already gone into your email. It recognises people's names that you've sent emails to and will send emails from that name to look like it's really genuine. What I would say is if you're just not sure, just delete it. And if an offer seems too good to be true, then it probably is.
Now, what should we do if that sort of situation arises?
If you think you've been scammed, if money is being removed, most banks will actually call you. They will detect that there's been some sort of fraudulent activity. They'll call you with an automated message saying that they suspect that activity has taken place. Take the time to listen to the message and react accordingly. It might say, press 1 if you believe there's been fraudulent activity. Make sure you do that. In most cases, the bank will be able to freeze your account instantly and often will recover that stolen money. You'll find that they will give you that money back because of their insurances. Always recommend calling 101. 101 is the Sussex Police non-emergency reporting line. Call them, say you believe that fraudulent activity has taken place, give as much information as you can. That helps them to build up a picture of what scams are taking place. And again, if you then also get, the police will give you a call number, and that will help you with any insurance purposes should you need to. You can also call Action Fraud. Again, they will log your details and help to work to try and prevent fraud in the future and assist you with your current situation.
And how can people keep themselves safe in general from this sort of stuff?
So Sussex Police actually have 10 golden rules that they issue out to help us to beat the scammers. So I'm just going to read through them now, actually, and they're all just really good, sound advice. So number 1, be suspicious of all. So too good to be true offers and deals. There are no guaranteed get-rich-quick schemes. Do not agree to offer or deals immediately. Insist on time to obtain independent and legal advice before making a decision. Don't hand over money or sign anything until you've checked the credentials of the company or individual. Never send money to anyone you do not know or trust, whether in the UK or abroad, or use methods of payment that you are not comfortable with. Never give banking or personal details to anyone you do not know or trust. This information is really valuable, so make sure you protect it. Always log on to a website directly rather than clicking on links provided in an email. Another one actually with that as well is you'll often see when you put the web address on, it has HTTPS. The S means it's a secure website. If it doesn't have the S, it's not so secure. Do not rely solely on glowing testimonials. Find solid, independent evidence of a company's success. Always get independent legal advice if an offer involves money, time or commitment. If you spot a scam or have been scammed, report it immediately and get help. So again, as I said before, you can contact Sussex 101 or Action Fraud. And lastly, don't be embarrassed to report a scam, because scammers are cunning and clever, and there's absolutely no shame in being deceived. By reporting it, you'll be making it more difficult for them to deceive others.
And of course, a lot of people do that. They don't report it because they feel embarrassed that they've allowed themselves to be scammed.
Absolutely.
And many cases go unreported purely because of that. So my advice, our advice, is swallow your pride and report it. If somebody's scammed you, you want to get them caught. And the only way to do that is if you report it. Otherwise, nobody knows it's happened.
Absolutely. And as we were chatting earlier before we came on air, my father was recently scammed through an internet scam. He left it a couple hours before calling me because he was embarrassed that he'd been duped. Thankfully, we managed to get all the money back and there was no issue. But just take action. Call Sussex 101. If you're not sure, even call us at the Selsey Town Council. We're here to help members of our community.
Yes, indeed. Good advice. And you've worked hard for your money, folks. Don't let somebody relieve you of it with a simple phone call. Don't give information to anybody. That's the safest way. Don't, especially bank details, don't give them to anybody. If the bank phones you and says this is the case or this has happened, phone them back. Just say, I'll phone you back, or I'll come in to the branch and sort it out.
Absolutely, it's definitely the way to go. And door knockings, where we often see in Selsey during the summer, becomes an issue. You know, if you don't feel comfortable with what the person's asking on the doorstep, shut the door.
Yes,
walk away.
It's not always easy because they are intimidating.
Of course.
I think we all know who we're talking about.
Definitely.
A particular element of society, and they are a bit intimidating. Just say no, thank you, and close the door.
Yeah.
Don't get involved in conversation with them.
Of course.
If you've closed the door, they can't convince you that your roof needs repairing or anything else.
What I would say as well is we do have at the moment in the Selsey Town Council offices, I've got a range of leaflets and information about scams and fraud. It's got useful phone numbers on. We're also able to give out posters and stickers that you can put in your window that says, I will not be accepting any door knocking, I will not be buying. You're actually trespassing on my premises by being here without me wanting you here. So don't, be afraid to come in and get some of those posters, put them up in your window. If you've got elderly neighbours or family, make sure they've got one up in their window as well.
Yes, indeed. That's good advice. And going back years, many years ago when I was young, you often saw signs on gates saying no hawkers or no trespassers. That's exactly what they were referring to. Nobody knocking on the door trying to sell me stuff. You won't be welcome, and you will be trespassing.
Absolutely. What's good about the new stickers is it actually cites the laws that were involved, and people not adhering to that sign that you've put in your window are actually breaking the law technically.
Well, there we are, folks. Good advice from Sue there. And if you need any more information on that, you can pop in at the council offices and they'll be more than happy to advise you. Is there a phone number that people can call?
They can always call us at the Town Council offices, which is 01243 605 803. Contact Action Fraud can be contacted on 0300 123 2040, and I'll be putting all the details onto the Salesley Works website as well.
Well, that's brilliant, Sue. Well, thanks for coming in and give us your time. I know you're very busy, and let's hope if we can save one person from getting scammed, we'll have done well.
That's great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, the depths that some people will sink to get money rather than try and earn it. Right, we go across to David now, and David's going to be giving us a few tips on the garden. David.
Hello, and this week I'd like to talk about gardening on what to do in May. May can be a really busy time, almost not enough hours in the day to do in the garden, but a few pointers of what to do this month to keep your garden looking really nice. First thing as always, lawns. If you've not already increased the frequency of cutting, you should be cutting now probably at least once a week. I generally do mine about every 4 or 5 days, A, because I've fertilised it a lot, and B, when I get home with the mowers on the van, it's very easy to pop off and just cut the grass. The other advantage of cutting more frequently is that you can take less off, therefore you can leave the grass slightly longer each cut, which means that if it does get too dry, it won't go brown so quickly. I generally still cut at about 1 to 1 1/4 inches. If you take too much off in one go, the grass will go yellow, won't look very good, it will die back in some places, and you'll have weeds coming in. The other time this year in May is to put on some weed killer. At the moment the soil is quite moist after the rain we had last week, and the weeds are actively growing, so put a weed killer on and see what the reaction will be. I did some grass earlier in the week, and when I came to cut it on Friday, the weeds had already started to die. It was looking quite good. Also, May is a good time to put on some fertiliser. Put on a high nitrogen fertiliser, and you won't need to put any more fertiliser there maybe for a couple of months. I still prefer to use a slow release fertiliser, which means that they last for 3 or 4 months. One of the things I'm trying this year is to put moss killer on throughout the season. I read an article about it, and this chap puts it on every 4 to 6 weeks. The advantage there, certainly if you've got trees in the garden, is that it kills the moss off all year. One of the disadvantages I find, unfortunately, is that the moss killers aren't very water soluble, and you can block up filters on any sprayer you're using. As for shrubs in the garden, well, as I drive around the area at the moment, I just look out at the wisteria. It really is growing well, probably better this year than in previous years. The only drawback is in summer houses is that with a light coloured wall and some of these light wisterias, they don't look as good. I'm just about to plant some Wisteria floribunda Black Dragon. One of the advantages of it is a dark purple colour, and against the cream garage it should look very good. And as I like a plant to be dual purpose, it's also got a great fragrance. So Floribunda Black Dragon, have a look at it, double flowered, dark purple violet, and also it's got some yellow specks. As for pruning, you should now be pruning any of the spring flowered shrubs. Your forsythia, japonicus, any of the rebes, and certainly kerria. I would be taking out probably 1 in every 3 of the actual shoots that have grown to enable new shoots to come through. Viburnum tinus as well will now need trimming back. As for clematis, any of the early flowering clematis can be cut back as soon as they've flowered. Don't take too much off, but just tidy it up. By doing it now, it can enable flower buds to grow over the year and be plenty of flowers for next year. Also, you should be continuing to tie in any of the clematis and honeysuckle as they start growing. Some of the evergreen hedges will need a bit of a trim in May. I've got a box hedge, and it's probably about the right time to give it a first trim. Not too much, little and often. Summer bedding can be planted now. The risk of frost is probably gone, though it's quite cold at night. Last week we had down to just 2 degrees centigrade in our back garden. Cannas and dahlias can also be planted, and if you've got any tubs that you want to plant out, now's the time to do it. Remove wallflowers, which have passed their best now, and any forget-me-nots. Leave a few in which will grow for next year, but any of the old clumps can be pulled out. Now is also a good time to divide some of the early flowering perennials: lungwort, pulmonaria, dorinicum, leopard's bane, and also primula. If you chop them up now into smaller pieces, you'll find you can plant them around the garden for next year. As for spring bulbs, apply a fertiliser to where your daffodils and tulips have been, but don't cut back yet. All that green material will get reabsorbed into the plant and for next year. Now is also the time to think about supporting some of the plants that will be growing on later. Your peonies, your delphiniums, and also some of your dahlias. And the sweet peas, which you will have planted now, could be tied in. Thank you.
No, thank you for sharing your wisdom, David. We go back to Alison now, and she's going to be having a look at what's going on in and around Selsey. Alison.
Hello there, and welcome once again to our weekly look at what's happening in Selsey. Don't forget, of course, half term is approaching, so there are lots of things going on, and it's the week of the Outdoor Festival and Walking Week, so plenty to be doing outside. First of all, on Tuesday the 23rd of May, there's the mobile soft play session for the under 5s at the Selsey Centre. As usual, that's between 10 and 11:30. Sue and Tom are the contacts there, 604 642. Also at the centre, 4:30 until 5:30 in the afternoon, kickboxing for kids. And in the evening, we've got netball for all at the Academy Sports Hall between 7 and 8. On Wednesday the 24th of May, we start off with the Selsey Woodcarvers meeting at the Scout Hut on School Lane. They meet pretty much all day between 10 and 4, and all are welcome to go and join them with their wood carving. Also on Wednesdays, it's the day for the Selsey Model Boat Club. They meet at the pond on East Beach, where they sail radio-controlled boats, and new members, of course, are always very welcome. The contact there is Chris on 601 550. They start at 10 and finish at 12. In the evening, 2 activities. We've got the Selsey Community Choir, who'll be rehearsing at the Methodist Church Hall on the High Street between 7 and 8:30. And also it's time for carpet bowls at Medmery Primary School on School Lane. They start at 7 and finish at 8. Then on Thursday, again our regular mobile soft play session for the under 5s at the Selsey Centre. That's between 10 and 11:30. Sue and Tom once again, 604 642. And in the afternoon, it's time for the Selsey Bridge Club. That's held at the club on Cox's Road, Selsey. It's a friendly group of mixed ability. If you'd like a few more details about that, then do speak to Carol on 602250. They start at 2 and finish at 5. Then in the evening, we've got a game of walking football. This is a gentle game of football to keep the over 50s in shape. If you're interested in that, they start at 6 and finish at 7:30. Also on Thursday evening, between 7 and 8, carpet bowls. Once again, that's at Medmery Primary School on School Lane. Now on Friday the 26th of May, it's Bridge for Beginners at the Selsey Club on Cox's Road. That's in the afternoon between 2 and 4. Also at the same time, 2 till 4, is the Darby and Joan Club. They meet every week at St Peter's Church Hall. More information on that by calling Jill Evenden on 604 187. Same time to start is the Mindful Music Making Group at the shop on the High Street. They start at 2 and finish at 3:30. Now, at the Selsey Centre on Friday, it's time for the monthly U3A meeting. They begin at 2:30 and finish at 4. And this month, the speaker is Andy Thomas, talking about the history of English freedom. If you want a bit more information about that, you need to ring 07710 658 331. And in the early evening, there's the Bright Sparks Youth Club between 5 and 6 for school years 1 to 4. That meets at East Beach Church. On Saturday the 27th, it's the day for the Brent Lodge Wildlife Hospital Spring Fling, where they'll be selling brooks, preserves, refreshments and so much more, they tell us. They're also having the same session on Sunday as well. Saturday the 27th sees the beginning of the Walking and Outdoor Festival. There's a lovely walk coming up. It's 12 miles long and it runs from Chichester Marina through all that wonderful countryside and back into Selsey. You will pass the Lady Spies Training Centre, North Mundham Church, St Wilf's Chapel and many other places of interest. You do need to bring a picnic and plenty to drink. Numbers on the bus are limited, so you have to pre-book. It's £5 per person if you're using the bus, or if you're meeting at the marina, it's only £2. If you're catching the bus, you need to meet at East Beach Car Park or the marina PO27EJ. You need to contact Anne for some more booking information. 07722 827 220. That's Anne on 07722 827 220. So that's the marina to the harbour walk, starting at 10 and finishing at 1. St Wilfrid's Church are having a plant and preserve sale on Saturday, starting at 10 and finishing at 12. Any more information on that from John Bradley on 603 803. Also on Saturday, of course, we've got our two regulars, the Venture Bus sale, which starts at 8:30 and finishes at 12, and the regular Scout Fair from 10 until 12. On Sunday the 28th of May, carpet bowls as usual, 9:30 to 10:30, again Medmary Primary School on School Lane. Don't forget it's the Brent Lodge Wildlife Hospital Spring Fling, once again, same details as before. Books, plants, bric-a-brac and so much more. That's from 10 until 4. Selsey Model Boat Club meet between 10 and 12 on East Beach, weather permitting. Any more information on that can be obtained from Chris on 801 550. Now, here's a new one. Selsey Stock Free Music Festival. Live music, street food, licensed bar and entertainment starting at 12 and finishing late 11 o'clock at night. Also on Sunday we've got the outdoor event, which is going to be a garden tour, part of the Selsey Walking and Outdoor Festival. This time you'll be pleased to know it's only 3 miles and will take approximately 2 hours. This is being run in conjunction with the Selsey Horticultural Society. And it's a tour providing the opportunity to view local gardens to see what works and of course what doesn't work and thrives in our sometimes difficult and demanding environment of strong winds and salty spray. You may wish to obtain ideas for your own garden or just enjoy seeing what others have done. Refreshments are available at the end of the tour at the Selsey Centre. It's going to cost £4 each, limited to 25 people, and it must be booked in advance. Dogs are very welcome, but of course they must be kept on a lead. Wheelchair access, we have to tell you, is not always possible in each of the gardens. You do need to check before booking. If you're interested in that, you need to meet at the Selsey Centre, and the contact for that is Tony on 07546 491 353. So that's the garden tour starting at 2, finishing at 4, and it's only 3 miles in length. We've also got our regular carpet bowls at Medmary Primary School, starting at 3 and finishing at 4, and it's time for the monthly respite tea at the Methodist Church between 3 and 4 in the afternoon. Now, Bank Holiday Monday, don't forget this is the last one until August. At the RSPB, there's something for free, which is unusual. It's a self-guided family activity and wildlife challenge day. Sheets are available every day during half-term from the visitor centre. So if you're interested in telling the children a little bit more about the RSPB and the wildlife on the reserve, do go along to that. Of course, it's the regular Selsey Carers car boot sale on Bank Holiday Monday. That starts at 7:30 and finishes at 1. Cars are £7 each. Car plus a trailer is £10 and vans are £12. It'll be held on the recreation ground, weather permitting, of course. Now, the next walk on the agenda is Wild About the Manhood Peninsula. The question has been asked, what makes this area special for wildlife? This is a circular walk, only 2 miles in length. They seem to be getting shorter, don't they? This one's designed to find out what it's about and why it lives here. It's led by Dr. Jill Sutcliffe from the Manhood Wildlife and Heritage Group. If you have binoculars, she does advise you to bring them along. This one will be £2 a person, and you meet at the Church Norton small car park near the church, or you can go there by bus if you catch the number 51 and then walk along Rectory Lane. For further details, you can look on the website or contact Jill herself on 07747 022 727. I'll repeat that long number, 07747 022 727. Wild about the Manhood Peninsula from 11 until 1. In the afternoon on Bank Holiday Monday, it's time for the annual St Peter's Church Spring Fair. They're going to have a picnic, a jazz band, a bouncy castle, children's games, and of course lots of stalls. So that runs from 12 until 3. So do go along if you're interested in that. All aboard! If you want to know about the railway carriage homes, then this is the walk for you. This one is a stroll around the East Beach area, which will tell the story of how and why these railway carriages came to Selsey. And a pamphlet is also available for those who wish to research this fascinating story a bit further. This walk is led by Dr. Bill Martin and will cost £2 a person. They're meeting at the East Beach car park. You can contact Bill about it, 07931 363 573. So that's 07931 363 573. That's an early evening walk from 6 until 7. And we have regular netball for all at the Academy Small Hall between 6 and 7. Back to work, of course, Tuesday the 30th of May, no more holidays, but we have got mindful walking. This one is about 50 minutes in length, so they most definitely are getting shorter. In this event, moving around the beach is accompanied by an audio guide consisting of music, spoken word, and the invitation to stand, walk, and lie on the sand to enhance your participation. You are advised to wear suitable clothing. It's a gentle activity, but there is a short and fairly steep bank of shingle to negotiate getting onto the beach itself, as those of us who live in Selsey will tell you. The carrot is that there's a hot drink and pastry afterwards, and you can share any experiences of the walk. You need to meet at 10:30 at the Coast Yard, that's the bed and breakfast place, on the main road in Selsey. The event is restricted to 20 places and advance booking is essential. MP3 players with an audio guide ready for use are supplied on the day. The cost for that is £3 per person for the walk, or £6 per person if you'd like a hot drink and a pastry to follow. You need to meet at Marine Gardens Car Park on Hillfield Road. The contact for this one is Linda Fisher, 077 07463. I'll repeat her number, 077 07463. Continuing the walking theme, there's also the Medmery Nature Reserve walk in conjunction with the RSPB. It's a great time to join them for a 6-mile walk around the Medmery Reserve. The walk will finish at the Breach Viewpoint near West Sands. And the 51 bus does go from there every half an hour into Chichester. Booking is essential for this one, limited to 20 people. You need to bring a packed lunch and plenty to drink, £4 a person. The start time is 9:30, finishes at 12, meeting at the RSPB Visitor Centre on Pagham Harbour. If you want a few more details about that, contact the RSPB themselves, 641 508. Now there's a 1-mile walk, you'll be pleased to know. This is a toddler spring trail happening at Bracklesham Bay. It's aimed at families with children aged 0 to 5 and it's toddler and buggy friendly with a treasure trail game to find objects along the way. The walk will end with a picnic. There will be some food provided, but do feel free to bring your favourite things along. It's £2 per family and it's meeting at Bracklesham Barn. The time for that is 10 until 11. You can find out a bit more from the Selsey Children and Family Centre, 642 906, to book your place and to find a few more details. There's an RSPB Birds and Craft half-term activity also on Wednesday, starting with a walk on the reserve, spotting and learning about birds that we can find, creating works of art using what we've seen and learnt as inspiration. As usual with the RSPB events, they do recommend that you book. 641508 is the contact number, £3 per child or £2 for members. That's 10:30 until 12:30. We finish our Tuesday activity with the regular kickboxing for kids at the Selsey Centre on Manor Road, 4:30 until 5:30. Netball for all at the Academy Sports Hall, as usual, 7 till 8. Now, here's another weather permitting event. This is the night sky. If it doesn't happen because of bad weather, it will be changed to Wednesday the 31st of May. But all being well, Tuesday is the day with Dr. John Mason, MBE. He's the principal lecturer at the South Downs Planetarium. He'll take us along the shore for an hour or so, giving an expert look at the night sky. He's got 30 years' experience in astronomy, astrophysics and space technology. Don't forget to bring a torch, of course. £4 per person, meeting at the Oval Field. You need to contact Anne for a few more details about that one. 07722 827 220. That's Anne on 07722 827 220, starting at 10:30 at night and finishing at 11:30 at night. So plenty to be doing in Selsey for the coming week. We've got our regular events, of course, at Bracklesham, and later in the broadcast you can hear all about those. I'll speak to you later. Bye for now.
Thank you there, Alison. I'm sure you're really looking forward to your holiday now, so it won't be long before you're off and away. Right, with me now I've got Mark Ponsford, and Mark is going to be setting up a park run in Bracklesham. Now, I'm not quite sure what a park run is. I mean, I guess it's self-explanatory. You run around a park, but there's got to be some purpose to it. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
Now, park run in Bracklesham that you're setting up. Please give us some more information.
Okay. Well, maybe let me explain a bit what park run is.
Absolutely.
As you say, it's self-explanatory in its words, but there's so much to it. Park run is a 5k timed run that occurs at 9 a.m. every Saturday morning in over 450 parks right through the UK, and in fact through 14 countries throughout the world.
Is it really?
Not all of them start at 9:30 at 9, but all the UK ones do. And they're timed. They are designed to be non-competitive. It's a run where anybody can come along, and being that it's only 5k, 5k is a lot for some people. It's a very good gateway into future events, future running, and it's also a good gateway into volunteering, into learning management techniques, into learning running, and all sorts of things. It brings the community together.
Yes, I can imagine it would. And I have to say, the one thing that I've not been able to do it for a number of years because of my knees, the one thing I miss in life is being able to run. Mm-hmm. Strange as it may sound, why would a big fat bloke like me want to run? It's only when you can't do it, you miss it.
Absolutely. I could actually be on the way back from running somewhere and see somebody running and still feel jealous of that person running. For me, running is possibly the best therapy session you can have. If you run on your own, you sort a lot of ideas out in your heads and you can formulate things. And what seemed to be a massive problem at the start of a run, like when you wake up in the morning, all of a sudden that problem's no longer there.
Or in my case, I'd be gasping for breath at the end, and the last thing on my mind would be the problem I started with.
Well, you say that. I volunteered on the Christmas Day park run at Chichester Park, and a gent came along. I don't know, he's probably 50 or 60 plus, and he walked it. He walked the whole thing, and he was completely supported all through his walk with a tail runner with him, and all the volunteers stayed in place until he finishes. I think it took him 55 minutes, but he got out there and he did a walk of 5k, 3.1 miles, and it takes away some of the fear that people have of running. people think that you've got to be out there and be a very fast, super fit, super everything. I see a lot of parkrun discussions where people say they're getting nervous. But running is possibly one of the simplest sports. Is you put on your trainers, you put on your shorts and your shirt, and you just run as slow or as fast as you like.
As I said, it doesn't take a lot of thought, does it? Really, you got to put one foot in front of the other and speed it up a little bit until you're running. But
absolutely, and that's the beauty of running. You become your own master. You can run in all sorts of weathers. It doesn't really make a lot of difference whether it's pouring with rain, bright sunshine, or even I've been out in the snow many a time running. But this in particular, Park Run, brings together a lot of people. It glues together a running community and more, because it's not just about running. There's a whole lot of volunteers. Maybe 12 volunteers to 20 volunteers a week can be at each Park Run. There's been over 250,000 volunteers in Park Run in its time.
Wow!
And that is something that everyone can get involved with. And
it obviously is very popular, because if there's
massively.
over 400 in the UK at the present, it's and growing by the sounds of it, which is what your plan is.
There's over 2 million people signed up to Park Run. So far, there's been 23.5 million runs, and they've run 114 million kilometres in those runs. So that's sinking. 114 million kilometres. I mean, you're getting on towards the distance to the sun.
I was going to say, they won't be far from the sun then.
That's absolutely right. So it's a really good community thing. It is a gateway into running, or gateway into exercise even, and it creates community. I see people that wouldn't have got involved in anything now actually acting as run directors with all the confidence that comes with, simply by turning up at a race one day, and the next thing you know you're volunteering, the next thing you know you're in charge of a run. And there's all sorts of things, from marshalling, for timekeeping, funnel management for the people coming to the end, and right up to event and run director. And like myself, I started off as a volunteer, and here I am now, moved down to Bracklesham recently. If I'm honest, it's a little bit selfish, because I want to build a running community so I can be part of it, and this is a great way of doing it.
And so you're going to now get this park run in Bracklesham off the ground, as
That's
well.
right. I've been given permission now, and got it in writing as well from the parish council, to use Bracklesham Park. I've got a route planned. Got to do some work on one of the footpaths, because it is a bit overgrown and I would say overused by some dogs.
Oh, right,
the best way of saying that. And that needs to be sorted out. But yeah, so we're doing that, and now it's the key thing for me at the moment is getting all that in place, looking at government grants to get it started. It takes £3,000 to start a park run, and all that goes towards a park run community. It's a completely non-profit making organisation, and the money that you put in gets the equipment in place initially, sets up all the website and everything for the local park runners, all the timing equipment, and everything that's needed to do that, all the tokens, the whole lot, and that all comes part of that £3,000. It actually costs about £6,000 to set up a park run, but Park Run put in £3,000 of that. So what I'm doing now is I'm going through some loan applications for finance from local grants, and a police grant I'm looking at as well. But I'm also holding a vintage midsummer ball on the 10th of June in Bracklesham Barn to help raise funds to start this.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
sounds like fun.
Yeah, it is. That ball's, it's like I say, it's on 10th of June. We've got a lady who a lot of people in this area will know, Dawn Gracie, as acting as our our vintage entertainer. She's fantastic. I've got James Gill, who's a DJ from Chichester area, to cover that. So it's going to be a night of dancing. Really, it's going to be anything from vintage dancing right the way through to modern day dancing. But my plan is to keep the dance floor packed. And what I'm hoping is the start of the community that eventually becomes all the runners within Park Run.
Sounds great. It sounds great. Now, if people want more information on this, Mark, how can they contact you?
Well, they can contact me on my email address, which is runmark@yahoo.com. It's as simple as it sounds, runmark@yahoo.com. If they want tickets for the ball, they are available from me on that email address, or they can pick them up from the Canine Club dog grooming parlour, which is opposite the fire station. There's a whole selection in there as well. Tickets are £15 each. That includes first drink. includes a buffet, all the entertainment, and it'll be a fabulous raffle as well. We've already got some prizes, and one of them's a year's membership to Westgate Gym, which is a massive prize.
Well, it sounds like a bargain to me, 15 quid a ticket, I have to say. Well, you've heard it from Mark there, and if you fancy a good night on June the 10th, get along to the ball.
Great.
Thanks very much, Mark. Thanks for coming in and letting us know about the setting up of the park run, and we wish you well with it.
Well, hopefully I can come back and tell you a bit more as we go along.
Yes, indeed. Certainly you can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you now. And now, what you've all been waiting for, this week's quiz. Kevin.
Right, hi there, here's Kevin with this week's Connections quiz. 5 questions, 5 answers. What's the connection between all 5 answers? Question number 1, science question. What is the chemical symbol for nitrous oxide? Question number 2, which distress call, first introduced in 1923, the name comes from the French for help me? Question number 3, television question. Who is Carrie's on-off boyfriend in Sex and the City? Question number 4, geography. Which island is the largest section of the Florida Keys? And question number 5, cricket question. Which long-serving commentator first appeared on Test Match Special in 1974? Who is he? Still going. So 5 questions. What connects all those answers? Very specific answer.
And we go back over to Alison now for the final bit before she goes on her well-deserved holiday. Alison.
Time now for our look at the Witterings and Bracklesham. Let's see what's going on there. Every Tuesday we've got the Rookwood Lawn Tennis Club group coaching. 2 sessions from 10 until 11 and 11 until 12. £4 an hour for that, meeting at West Wittering Sports Field. Back at Bracklesham Barn, the Little Explorers Play and Learn Together meet from 10 until 11:30. Elaine has her yoga groups at the barn between 9:30 and 10:30, and then 10:45 and 11:45. In the afternoon at Bracklesham Barn, Strength and Balance, 2 sessions again, 2 until 3 and 3 until 4. And it's the Beginner Ukulele Club at the barn between 6:30 and 8:30 in the evening. Over at West Wittering Memorial Hall, in the evening, the Community Pop Choir rehearse. They meet at 7 and finish at 9. And back at Bracklesham Barn, the Badminton Club meet between 7:30 and 9:30. And don't forget there's free pool at Pond Barn. On Wednesdays, we've got the adult drop-in and play table tennis sessions at Bracklesham Barn between 10 and 12. And there's also CBT motorcycle training at Bracklesham Barn. That's from 9 until 11, but you do have to pre-book for that one. Lunchtime, we've got belly dancing with Step Inside from 1 until 2 at Bracklesham Barn. And then early in the evening, there's belly dancing with Step Inside. And then later in the evening, we've got Zumba with Louise, Bracklesham Barn, 6:30 until 7:30. Surf conditioning also at Bracklesham Barn between 7:30 and 8:30. One special event at the barn on the 24th is the Ukulele Jam. That's from 7 o'clock until 10 in the evening. Moving on now to Thursday, Busybugs Toddler Gym starts at Bracklesham Barn at 9:30 and should be over by 12. Stitch and Yarn meet at the Witterings Medical Centre between 10:30 and 12:30, and then over at East Wittering Library between 11 and 12:30 it's time for Knit and Natter. The Witterings Art Group meets at West Wittering Memorial Hall between 10 and 12, and at East Wittering Village Hall there's time for the Keep Fit exercise class. That meets from 2 until 3. 2 sessions of West Wittering short mat bowls at the Memorial Hall, 10 until 12 and 2 until 4. We've also got Pilates for mixed ability between 6 and 7 at East Wittering Village Hall, and there's the private ballroom and Latin sessions at 7. East Wittering Village Hall, you do need to book for those, www.strictlydancinguk.co.uk. Junior Youth Club meets for the 8 to 12-year-olds at the Youth Centre between 5 and 6:30, and the seniors then, 12 to 17, they meet at the youth centre following them, 6:30 till 8:30. Now don't forget, neither of those groups will meet the following week during half term. Every Friday we've got Pilates at Bracklesham Barn between 9:30 and 10:30 in the morning, and in the afternoon short mat bowls between 2 and 4. Over at East Wittering Village Hall, Coastliners line dancing between 2 and 5. And then it's time for the beginner session at Rookwood Lawn Tennis Club. That's at West Wittering Sports Field from 2 until 2:45 for beginners. The UK Film Academy have their regular meeting at Bracklesham Barn between 5 and 9. And down at Pond Barn, it's jukebox night from 7 until midnight. At East Wittering Village Hall, there's private ballroom Latin classes. Starting at 7, you need to book with them directly, www.strictlydancinguk.co.uk. Moving on now to Sunday, Windrush Church meet at Bracklesham Barn between 10:30 and 12:45. And then in the evenings there's modern jive dancing at East Wittering Village Hall from 7:30 until 9. And at Pond Barn, of course, it's the quiz night. That begins at 8. Mondays, low impact aerobics starts off at Bracklesham Barn between 9:15 and 10:15, and it's also the day for the Little Ducklings mother and toddler group to meet between 9:30 and 11:30. Short mat bowls at Bracklesham Barn between 10:30 and 1. And then in the early evening, Louise will be doing her Zumba class between 6:30 and 7:30. At East Wittering Village Hall, there's line dancing between 7 and 10. And Elaine does her yoga group at Bracklesham Barn between 7 and 8:30. Followed, of course, by ARO Ladies Beginner Kickboxing with Verity. That's from 7:30 until 8:30. Back to Tuesday now. The Rookwood Lawn Tennis Club group coaching will take place. 2 sessions, one between 10 and 11, the other 11 to 12. Both of those £4 per hour at West Wittering Sports Field. And at Bracklesham Barn, Little Explorers Play and Learn Together starts at 10 and finishes at 11:30. Yoga with Elaine, of course, Bracklesham Barn, 2 sessions there, 9:30 to 10:30, followed by 10:45 till 11:45. Strength and balance at Bracklesham Barn in the afternoons, 2 until 3 and then 3 until 4. The Beginner Ukulele Club meets at Bracklesham Barn in the early evening, 6:30 until 8:30. The Community Pop Choir, of course, rehearse at West Wittering Memorial Hall between 7 and 9. And back at Bracklesham Barn, we've got the Badminton Club between 7:30 and 9:30. And over at Pond Barn, it's free pool. So that's it for the week. Hope you find plenty to do and you enjoy those activities. Bye for now.
Well, thank you, Alison, and have a fabulous holiday, and we look forward to seeing you on your return. Hi, and welcome to the kitchen once again. Well, we've got a couple of recipes for you this week, as usual. And the first one is Italian turkey steaks, and this will serve 4 people. And this is what we need: 1 tablespoonful of olive oil, 4 turkey escallops or steaks, 2 red peppers deseeded and sliced, 1 red onion sliced, 2 garlic cloves finely chopped, 300 ml of passata, 150 ml of medium white wine, 1 tablespoonful of chopped fresh marjoram, 400 grams of canned cannellini beans, drained and rinsed, 3 tablespoonfuls of fresh white breadcrumbs, some salt and pepper for seasoning, and fresh basil sprigs to garnish. And this is what we do. Heat the oil in a flame-proof casserole or heavy-based frying pan, add the turkey escallops, and cook over a medium heat for 5 to 10 minutes, turning occasionally until they're nice and golden. Transfer those to a plate, add the red pepper and onion to the casserole and cook over a low heat, stirring occasionally for about 5 minutes or until softened. Add the garlic and cook for a further 2 minutes. Return the turkey to the casserole and add the passata, the wine and the marjoram, and season to taste with some salt and pepper. Bring to the boil, then reduce the heat and cover and simmer, stirring occasionally for 25 to 30 minutes, or until the turkey's cooked through and tender. We want it to be cooked all the way through. Now preheat the grill to medium, Stir the cannellini beans into the casserole and simmer for a further 5 minutes. Then sprinkle the breadcrumbs over the top and place under the preheated grill for 2 or 3 minutes or until golden. And you can serve that up, garnished with some fresh basil sprigs. Very Italian, very tasty. And our second recipe this week is one for the vegetarians amongst us, and that's cauliflower, aubergine and green bean korma. And this will serve 4 to 6 people, and this is what we need. 85 grams of cashew nuts, 1.5 tablespoons of garlic and ginger paste, 200 ml of water, 55 grams of ghee or 4 tablespoons of vegetable or groundnut oil, 1 large onion chopped, 5 green cardamom pods lightly crushed, 1 cinnamon stick broken in half, 1/4 teaspoonful of ground turmeric, 250 ml of double cream, 140 grams of new potatoes scrubbed and chopped into 1 centimetre cubes, 140 grams of cauliflower florets, half a teaspoonful of garam masala, 140 grams of aubergine, and that needs to be chopped into chunks, and 140 grams of green beans chopped into 1 centimetre pieces, some salt and pepper, and chopped fresh mint for the garnish. And this is what we do. Heat a large flame-proof casserole or frying pan with a tight-fitting lid over a high heat. Add the cashew nuts and stir until they start to brown, then tip them out of the casserole. Put the nuts in a spice blender with the garlic and ginger paste and 1 tablespoon of the water and whiz until it forms a coarse paste. Melt half the ghee in the casserole over a medium to high heat. Add the onion and fry for 5 to 8 minutes or until golden brown. Add the nut paste and stir for another 5 minutes. Stir in the cardamom pods, the cinnamon stick and the turmeric. Add the cream and the remaining water and bring to the boil. And stir in all the while you're doing that. Reduce the heat to the lowest level, cover the casserole and simmer for 5 minutes. Add the potatoes, cauliflower and garam masala to the casserole and simmer covered for another 5 minutes. Stir in the aubergine and green beans and continue simmering for a further 5 minutes or until all the vegetables are tender. And check the sauce occasionally and make sure it's not sticking to the base of the casserole. And if you find it is, well, stir in a little drop of extra water. And then just taste and adjust the seasoning, add in some salt and pepper if necessary, and sprinkle with the chopped mint and serve. Really tasty vegetarian dish, cauliflower, aubergine and green bean korma. And that's it for this week. See you again soon. And indeed that is it for this week. It just leaves it for me to say thank you to everybody concerned, to Sue Osborne, to David with the gardening, to Alison especially, and I hope she enjoys her holiday, to Mark Ponsford for the park information on the park run, to Kevin of course for the quiz, and to John Fletcher, our producer. And my name's Keith Barnes, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.